Washington, Missouri City Council, July 1, 2019, 7 p.m. Heidrich.
Here.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Obermark.
Here.
Patchke.
Here.
Pettit. Scornia.
Yes.
Sullentrup.
Here.
Wessels.
Yeah.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will all the council members answer if they have or have not read the minutes of the council meeting dated June 17, 2019? Heidrich.
Aye.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Obermark.
Aye.
Patchke.
Yes.
Scornia.
Yes.
Sullentrup.
Yes.
Wessels.
Yes.
Having read the minutes, are there any questions or comments?
Make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Sullentrup, seconded by Heidrich, to approve the minutes from our last meeting dated June 17, 2019. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? By your vote, you approve the minutes. Thank you.
Approval and adjustment of agenda, including consent agenda, microfilm and disposal of records, finance, CDBG certified payment, change order 1, Washington Engineering, Schultz Industrial Park, stormwater improvements, final pay request, SK Contractors, roofing package B, Main Park Pavilion, final pay request, Matt Girardi Excavating, 902 Locust Street demolition, liquor license renewal, and we were asked to withdraw item 2C from the agenda.
Okay, any questions or comments about those items? About any of the items?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Sullentrup, seconded by Heidrich, to approve the items on the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? By your vote, you approve the items. Thank you.
Priority items, Certificate of Appreciation, John Berger.
Sandy's going to go ahead and read Joe.
How are you? Sure, I have to read this little certificate, and then I'm going to hand it off to you, and you want to make a comment or two?
Okay, because my cousin has a statement that he wants me to make.
All right, good deal. Come forward. So, anyway. So, a couple of months ago, I guess, John Berger, who would be Anton's cousin, correct? Was in town for the annual high school reunion. Washington High School does an annual reunion. It's multiple classes. And he was in town, and while he was here, he visited with Wayne, right? And Darren as well, and talked about maybe wanting to make some type of contribution to our community, particularly for the disc golf course, which is being developed on Berger Park. And these gentlemen are part of the Berger family of Berger Park. So John did submit a $5,000 donation to the city for the development of the disc golf course. I think it's going to maybe be used for signage and benches and things like that. Tonight, he cannot be here, but Anton is going to accept the certificate. As you know, we're trying to recognize individuals who contribute $5,000 or more to the city. So John lives in
Mexico.
In Mexico, okay. Didn't quite know it was that far away.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, he bought a house right in the center of Mexico and tore it down and built a brand new one.
well, I hope you get to visit.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we have a certificate of appreciation, whereas John Berger has generously donated $5,000 to the City of Washington Parks, and whereas the donation will be used to help fund benches and signage at the Berger Park Disc Golf Course. Now therefore, I, Sandy Lucy, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor, and on behalf of our governing body and all our citizens, do hereby tender this certificate of appreciation to extend a heartfelt thank you and express warm appreciation to John Berger for his generous donation to the City of Washington Parks. Signed, Sandy Lucy, Mayor. And it has the seal of the City of Washington. Okay, so you want to go ahead and read the
Yeah.
comment? Sure.
My cousin sent this statement. I wish to thank the great city of Washington for their kind words. Your proclamation is totally unnecessary but highly appreciated. I would also like to thank my cousin Anton Hendricks for attending on my behalf. When I was a young boy, I farmed land now known as Burger Park for my father, James Burger. He taught me how to spot Native American arrowheads, their glint sparkling against the freshly turned soil. But my fondest memories are of frequent horseback rides on a Palomino named Charlie Brown. Back then, to reach the farmable land, you had to cross a creek and venture through woods so thick that it was almost total darkness even at midday. Serene, cool, and seemingly remote, it was a profound impact to a 12-year-old boy. I guess you might say now this parkland was my Walden Pond. After they announced that the Highway 100 was going through the middle of my father's farm, he decided to sell. I believe he was aware of the high esteem in which these remote acres were held by me, and was my motivation to donate them to the city. Our hopes and wishes are that Burger Park continues as a place of comfort and joy for all current and future Washingtonians. Thank you, John Berger and Deborah Thompson. And now, let the disc golf games begin.
Could you forward that email to Wayne?
So actually, Wayne, it's on his phone. I read from his phone.
Oh, Wayne already, okay, very good.
I
Okay.
downloaded it but couldn't find it, so I said
Okay.
something to him, and he said, "Well, I've got it on my phone." So-
Okay, very good.
Otherwise, I would have been ad-libbing.
Okay, well, you did good.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so we have the Missourian here tonight, and we want to take a photo.
Okay.
Behind the flag. Looks like she hit him in the head with it.
Where'd that phone come? Where'd that cover from? Where?
Yes. Well,
Don, hey, Don, I know where you live at. Him too.
Hey, Mark. That's awesome.
I don't know if I should text and say, hey, we just found a direction. Probably not.
Mayor's presentations, appointments and reappointments. Park and Recreation Commission reappointment.
Okay, this evening we have a reappointment to the Parks and Recreation, and that person is Debbie Todebush. Debbie has been on the Park Board for a while, and she's agreed to serve another term. This term would end in June of 2024. Any questions or comments?
Make a motion.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Holtmeyer, seconded by Scornia, to reappoint Debbie Todebush to the Parks and Recreation Commission. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? By your vote, you approve the reappointment. Thank you.
Citizens' comments.
Is there anyone here who would like to address the council on any item that is not on the agenda? Okay.
Report of department heads.
Any report that we missed the previous meeting? Anything new happened since our last?
Not that I'm aware of.
Ordinances, resolutions. An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of an agreement by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and Lou Fuse Buick GMC, Inc. for the purchase of one used 2015 Chevrolet Impala Police Pursuit Package vehicle.
Holtmeyer.
Introduced by Councilmember Holtmeyer. Any questions or comments? This is the item that Chief was talking to us at the previous meeting.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of an agreement by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and Lou Fuse Buick GMC, Inc. for the purchase of one used 2015 Chevrolet Impala Police Pursuit Package vehicle. Sullentrup,
Yes.
Scornia,
Yes.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Hettke,
Yes.
Heidrich. Wessels.
Yes.
Obermark.
Aye.
By your vote, you approve the ordinance. Thank you.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of an agreement by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and Missouri State Highway Patrol for the purchase of one used 2013 Chevrolet Impala Police Pursuit Package vehicle.
Scornia.
Introduced by Councilmember Scornia. This is the other vehicle Chief was speaking of.
The other view.
Any questions?
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of an agreement by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and Missouri State Highway Patrol for the purchase of one used 2013 Chevrolet Impala Police Pursuit Package Vehicle. Sullentrup,
Yes.
Scornia,
Yes.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Patchke.
Yes.
Heidrich.
Aye.
Wessels.
Yes.
Obermark.
Aye.
By your vote, you approve the ordinance. Thank you.
An ordinance amending the 2019 budget by the City of Washington, Missouri.
Holtmeyer.
Introduced by Councilmember Holtmeyer.
This budget amendment is for our airport projects. It was anticipated what we've done with the capital improvement sales tax dollars that's allocated to the airport is spread those out over 10 years because we don't know the specific project that may require dollars. So we anticipated budget amendment for the striping project, and then we also would anticipate anyone in the future, provided it was exceeded the $180,000 that we typically budget every year. If you notice there, it is offset by revenue, which is the 90% we get back from the state.
Any questions or comments?
An ordinance amending the 2019 budget by the City of Washington, Missouri. Sullentrup,
Yes.
Scornia,
Yes.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Patchke.
Yes.
Heidrich.
Aye.
Wessels.
Yes.
Obermark.
Aye.
By your vote, you approve the ordinance. Thank you.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of an STP urban program agreement by and between the City of Washington and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the 3rd Street Overlay and Improvement Project, STP 6401602.
Sullentrup.
Introduced by Councilmember Sullentrup.
Approximately a year ago, we received notice that we were awarded a grant through MoDOT STP program, which is an 80-20 cost share. Locals pay 20 cents on the dollar to do street projects. This would include a overlay, new sidewalks and curb and gutter from Jefferson to Highway 47. This is the first step in that process. We have to go into an agreement with MoDOT to get the money. This essentially kicks off the ability for us to solicit consultants and/or pick out of their on-call list. We're just asking for your approval to move forward with that agreement so we can start the process of improving 3rd Street.
That goes, when would that happen then?
What we got here, it's 19, that's a 2022, I think. I have to check that, but it's a 2022, I do believe.
Any other questions or comments?
Finish date of September 2022.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of an STP urban program agreement by and between the City of Washington and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the 3rd Street Overlay and Improvements Project, STP 6401602. Sullentrup,
Yes.
Scornia,
Yes.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Patchke.
Yes.
Heidrich.
Aye.
Wessels.
Yes.
Obermark.
Aye.
By your vote, you approve the ordinance. Thank you.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a downtown building rehabilitation agreement by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and Riverfront Leather, Inc.
Holtmeyer.
Introduced by Councilmember Holtmeyer. This is the project that Sal was telling you about previously on East Front Street.
East Front.
East Front Street.
Are we approving the TIF money, or are we approving the actual facade of the building here?
No, just the agreement. So this gives them the go-ahead to start purchasing all the material. So any receipt they turn in for construction has to be shown after the program date, which would be July 1, 2019.
And then they go before the historic preservation.
They already
or
did.
They already have gone
Yep.
before them for
Yeah, so the rendering's in
approval.
there. It's just they're replacing all the windows on the top level and then adding identical windows on the street level. Pretty simple facade improvement, but involves tuck pointing and new windows, so.
It's good to see this happening.
Yeah.
He's talked about it for a long time. Any other questions?
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a downtown building rehabilitation agreement by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and Riverfront Leather, Inc. Sullentrup,
Yes.
Scornia,
Yes.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Patke,
Yes.
Heidrich.
Aye.
Wessels.
Yes.
Obermark.
Aye.
By your vote, you approve the ordinance. Thank you.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a depository contract by and between the City of Washington and the Bank of Franklin County.
Patke.
Introduced by Councilmember Patke. This is the banking agreement that Mary spoke about. Any questions or comments?
We did receive 3 proposals, and the Bank of Franklin County was the one that was chosen or recommended.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a depository contract by and between the City of Washington and the Bank of Franklin County. Sullentrup.
Yes.
Scornia.
Yes.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Patke.
Yes.
Heidrich.
Aye.
Wessels.
Yes.
Obermark.
Yes.
By your vote, you approve the ordinance. Thank you.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a contract agreement by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and Environmental Systems Research Institute, Inc. for ArcGIS software and services.
Sullentrup.
Introduced by Councilmember Sullentrup.
This year, we've been working with the IT department, finance, to implement a new building department software for building permitting. It also includes some additional finance procedures as well. Ultimately, what it'll do is should streamline our permitting process in engineering and the building department, potentially with the opportunity to where people can go online and apply for a building permit online and pay for that at their home rather than come to City Hall. So as you can imagine, that's a pretty big step up to what we do today, where we only accept cash and check. So we're working on getting that taken care of. Through the implementation process, we realized, unknowingly, quite honestly, that our ArcGIS software that we currently utilize today cannot run in the background of this program, and we have to have that. It is a critical path item to improve our Tyler software. So this is I guess the contract license agreement for us to purchase that software in order for us to move that building department software forward. So this essentially runs in the background. We also utilize it in engineering for our water line locations. We have a sidewalk component that we can kind of track sidewalks, which is in development stages, things of that nature. So kind of the sky's the limit on what this ArcGIS does. It's more of an informational system. So floodplain development permits would be, some other things that we could look into, just having that information right at our fingertips. We currently don't probably utilize but 5% of it. This would just allow us to expand upon that as we become more familiar with it. But this is kind of a critical piece for us to get that building department software kind of up and running. So,
Be able to send full sets of plans to building department?
yeah, via PDF, SharePoint, do those things. We are currently, I've been working to cut down on our, just our paper plan submittals, where the last kind of submittal is a paper copy. So we're accepting PDFs right now. I'm replying back with comments via PDF and then approving them PDFs just to kind of cut back on some of the paperwork. So I think the biggest thing here is just being able to apply for a permit online. And that's a huge deal for our citizens. So.
Any comments or questions?
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a contract agreement by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and Environmental Systems Research Institute, Inc. for ArcGIS software and services. Sullentrup.
Yes.
Scornia.
Yes.
Holtmeyer. Patke.
Yes.
Heidrich.
Aye.
Wessels. Obermark.
Aye. I remember you did.
By your vote, you approve the ordinance. Thank you.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a contract agreement by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and FKI Commercial Cleaning Services.
Patke.
Introduced by Councilmember Patke. Any comments or questions? This is the cleaning services for the library.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a contract agreement by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and FKI Commercial Cleaning Services. Sullentrup.
Yes.
Scornia.
Yes.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Patke?
Yes.
Heidrich?
Aye.
Wessels?
Yes.
Obermark?
Aye.
By your vote, you approve the ordinance. Thank you.
Mayor's report?
I just have a couple things. Were you hoping to address the council this evening? Okay, all right, just want to make sure. Okay. The American in Bloom is approaching when the judges will be here. So they will be here July 25th and 26th. And as usual, we'll be having lunch at our home on that Friday. I'll get you an invitation, but just wanted to let you know in advance because I'm going to be heading out of town for a little bit. So I'll get that to you. And then that same week is the Missouri Main Street Conference, and Darren has been nominated for Good Public Official. Is that what it's called? Or
Close
something?
enough, it
Yeah,
sounds like.
something, yeah. So anyway, he's been nominated for one of the awards. There are 2 nominees for that category, so that dinner will be on July 25th, that evening, down in St. Louis. So
It
he's,
requires a clean shaven.
so he's been over very,
Guess I lost.
so there are 2 nominees that evening, and Darren is one of them. So we're rooting for Darren, so. And I think that's all I have.
City Administrator's report?
I just have one item before I request we go into executive session. We did receive, Sal received 2 proposals for redevelopment of the 8th and Locust Street area. We just received those Friday, so we're not really prepared to report to you, but just want you to know we'll probably be bringing something to you maybe by the next meeting or maybe first meeting in August.
Plan on setting up interviews with each development team late next week when I get back from vacation, so.
And I do have several items to review with you in executive session.
Vacation?
Council comments?
Does anyone have any council comments?
I would just like to say happy birthday to Sandy's mom. That's my card.
Okay. I'll pass it on. So anyway, thank you. So,
Hey, Chief, I'm still waiting for something to happen down at Rabbit Trail and Mike Allen, that big bush.
John
Yep.
and I are working on it.
Working on, we sent a letter out, and I have to check on the status of it. I do not know sitting here tonight, but we're working on it. Typically, what we do is any kind of tree situation, we've been proactively sending inspectors out to look at things when they're driving around. So I'm not sure if you've gotten any calls about anyone getting tree letters is what we call them, but it triggers my staff to send a letter out. Allows for, I believe, up to 4 weeks essentially to get it rectified, the situation. The specific one you're talking, I think, is in the right-of-way, so I think we do have the ability to get it removed with our own staff. But, you know,
Because that's a homeowners association down there, you know.
yeah, and that may be what it
Officer
is.
Grissom always used to deal with it, and I'd call him, and within, next week, it was trimmed down when he was on that. you know.
Yeah, and.
Problem now is it's so big, it's gotta go.
Yeah, so we are working on it, and Chief and I work together on those things, so a lot of times whenever we see them, or the street department sees them, I'll kind of start the process. Chief did let me know, so it is definitely in my court, and at this meeting, I don't have an update for you.
I
So,
know.
I'll get it working on,
Just wanted to make sure the wheels were rolling.
slowly this time, apologize for that.
Thank you.
anyone else?
City Attorney's report. Public vote on whether or not to hold a closed meeting to discuss legal, personnel, and real estate matters pursuant to Section 610.021 RSMO 2000. Sullentrup?
Yes.
Scornia?
Yes.
Holtzmeyer?
Aye.
Patke?
Yes.
Heidrich?
Aye.
Wessels?
Aye.
Obermark?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned.